It does appear I am having some shade thrown at me. Now, I have an ego. There's an I in Rich and Eisen. I don't believe everything I say into this microphone is heard by players, and I'm not part of the landscape in this media world that just wants to be heard. That's it. I'm thrilled to be heard. Don't care if I'm right or wrong. I prefer to be right, but I do care if I'm wrong. I'm not one of those people in this business. Trust me. Anybody who's watched this show, heard this show, knows that. You guys know that in here. And I don't sit here saying everything I say. The players who are involved in the takes that I have absolutely hear everything that I'm saying. But this, I'm pretty damn confident the Chiefs Kingdom heard over and over again that I had said that oh God, I can't believe I said this. The Raiders were going to win the AFC West this year. It truly is, and I've since said it's the worst take I've had in the history of the show. And I once upon a time said that Giannis shouldn't be acquired by the Miami Heat. Miami shouldn't break up their team after finishing second place in the bubble. TJ can't even look me in the face when I say these things because he knows how bad that take was. You might even think that's still worse than the take that I had just football take-wise, but it's okay.
I think it is.
Okay, all right.
I'm saying you should let yourself off the hook on this one.
Worst football take I've ever had. In the 8-year history.
But again,
of the
I
show.
appreciate the fact that you own up to it because many of your contemporaries do not.
Good Lord, have I owned it.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely part of the crew that doubted the Chiefs last spring were going to be as good as they have been since Mahomes has taken the reins as starting quarterback there. So here's Travis Kelce hyping it up. Hype man numero uno at the podium yesterday, post-parade.
Let me take you back to 2022 in the month of maybe April. Maybe. Guys were getting signed left and right. The haters were saying that the Chiefs would never make the playoffs. The haters were saying the Chiefs were done. If you knew the Chiefs were gonna win the division, let me hear you say, hell yeah. All right now. If you knew the Chiefs were gonna get the #1 seed, let me hear you say, hell yeah. I knew it, you knew it, but they ain't know it.
All right, so let me take this one at a time. Did I know that the Chiefs were winning the division? He said, if you knew that, say hell yeah. Can't say hell yeah. Can't. Because I was one of those types trying to zig when everyone else was zagging or everyone has been zagging for year after year after year after year, and that was the accurate 4 straight AFC Championship game appearances in a row, that when they lost Tyreek Hill, I thought to myself, who are they going to replace him with? Before I even heard that, I'm like, Davante Adams is joining his old college teammate. Let's go. Chandler Jones is joining Max Crosby. Let's go. The Condor has another guy on the other end who can rush the passer, maybe make the Hall of Fame already. Thought, okay, here we go. Josh McDaniels going to come in, and what a total moron I was. I took that cheese before I even found out who they were going to replace him with. And then I heard, MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling was joining, and Juju Smith-Schuster was joining. And I'm like, together, are they going to make up the issues with Tyreek Hill not being there? And part of the reason why, since we're turning back the clock, I was saying this is because of how it appeared to everyone dependent on the chunk play, the field flipping chunk play, that the Chiefs seemed to be so dependent on Tyreek Hill. And I thought, well, they're going to have to put the pieces together, struggle to figure it out to the point where they wouldn't win the division. I said all along that they'd be a wild card team. So I can't sit there and go, be part of what's that noise? I can't be part of that noise when I'm saying they missed the playoffs. I never said they were going to miss the playoffs. I'm just talking about me personally here because that's all I care about. But in terms of if you thought we'd be the 1 seed, say hell yeah. On Thanksgiving, when I finally got off the Bills bandwagon and said the Chiefs were going to win the AFC period, when I switched and I saw the way that the Bills were suddenly flagging, and I saw the way that the Chiefs had played over the first dozen weeks of the season from their, by the way, first game in Arizona this year, boat racing Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, just smoking them. So you want to talk about bookends in Arizona for this team. That first one was quite eye-opening, and despite that mind-bending loss to the Colts, they were really consistent and consistently good. I hopped on. So in terms of, did I see them as the 1 seed as of Thanksgiving? Hell yeah! And then as I watched them play football and get into the 1 seed and start to make the playoffs and the playoff run, as of game day morning AFC Championship game, standing next to Andy Reid's buddy, choosing the Bengals, who I, as you know, caped for when they were 0-2, talking about how I'm not getting off that bandwagon, how terrific they are, and how great Burrow is, and how the Bengals can win it again, pounding that table when it came to choosing who wins the AFC Championship game next to Andy Reid's buddy taking the Bengals. Lone wolfing the Kansas City Chiefs. Hell yeah. And then it comes to NFL game day morning, Sunday morning, and he's sitting next to Andy Reid's buddy, Steve Mariucci, choosing the Eagles. What I do? So, hell yeah. And that's the issue people are having with this take. Is that, yes, did we doubt that they would be this good when they lost Tyreek Hill and everybody else was signing everybody in April of 2022? In April of 2022? Right. Yes. And back in training camp, I was believing it, man. As late as the playing season, until the Raiders started doing what they did. Couldn't win, couldn't protect leads. They started 0-3, and I'm getting texts from Stone Street, tweets from all the Kansas City Chiefs kingdom pointing out how wrong I was. I hated being wrong. And I was wrong. But at some point, we realized that they were just as good as before.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where people are having issues with the no one believed in us card being played by somebody and a team as great as these Chiefs are, fronted by a quarterback who's as great as Mahomes is, and coached by someone who's as great as Reid is, and front man by somebody who's as great as Travis Kelce is. That's where people are having some issues with this, but you do have to admit, back in the spring, mea culpa, as I've said over and over again. Here was Mahomes on this very subject matter himself.
Before we started this season, the AFC West said we were rebuilding. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know what rebuilding means. In our rebuilding year, we're world champs. We're world champs. I just want to let y'all know that this is just the beginning. We ain't done yet. So I'll make sure to hit y'all back next year, and I hope the crowd's the same. Appreciate y'all. Let's go, baby.
Love him, and he's not wrong. That's the scary part about it. It is just beginning, because what this championship meant and represents is the championship, their first one without Tyreek Hill, the first one without the Chiefs being that track meet, boat race, big chunk play team. They switched it up. And they switched it up on the Eagles in that bye week. They switched it up week to week, whatever they needed to do. And most week, obviously, it was Mahomes doing his MVP magic. They have switched it up, and at some point down the road, they're going to have to switch it up again. And as long as it's Mahomes and assume Reed or somebody who is a Reed acolyte, they're going to have to do it again. They'll be doubted again, and I don't doubt that they'll do it again because of that kid, number 15, the face of the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. That's what this championship means, is they switched it up. The same way that Brady was winning 3 of his first 4 with Belichick, and take a look at the rosters he won 3 of his first 4 with on offense. Just take a look. Obviously, Deion Branch was an MVP. Brandon LaFell caught big passes. David Patton, right? You know the names, Chris.
Yeah, LaFell was later on. David Givens, David Patton, Jermaine Wiggins, right. Antoine Smith, Kevin Falk. Not exactly Hall of Famers on offense.
And then later on, Welker, Gronk, Edelman.
Never won with Welker, actually.
Oh, he never won with Welker, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Now he threw that one. My bad. I do remember
James
that
White.
one being thrown. Yeah, but I mean, I guess championship years.
Yeah.
At some point, even though I got some of these names wrong, I think the general gist is accurate. It's that this is the first switch up. Yep. Without Hill, MVS, in comes Juju and his Twitter game, and they win it. But they do retool on defense. They retooled from 2020, and they won it again. It is just the beginning. That's the scary part.
They won tough games. They didn't blow anybody out. They played close games all year.
Brother, they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence playing at the top of their game, coming off of a huge comeback with Mahomes thoroughly compromised with his ankle, won that game, and beat Joe Burrow, and then beat Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. That is maybe the toughest crucible a team could have gone on, other than, with all due respect to Jacksonville, if they saw Josh Allen in the divisional round, and then Burrow, and then Jalen Hurts. It's a heck of a row that they just hoed in Kansas City. So that's the entirety of me saying mea culpa, but, at some point we did realize I realized their greatness in the middle of the season, and I'm also acknowledging their greatness moving on. So it'll be really tough to play that card that no one's going to believe in them again. But they will. Every championship team does it. Brady did it when he was trying for his, 5th or 6th Lombardi trophy. He did it, say nobody believes in us. Georgia, after putting 60 on TCU, who said that people thought they couldn't even win 7 games? Like, on what planet are you living?
It's weird when teams do that.
It happens all the time. But I'm part of it. I didn't think they'd win the division. How dumb was I? Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.